Oscar Piastri has had a turbulent few months. As an Alpine reserve driver, he seemed to have a chance at the team this calendar year, but it was McLaren that finally contracted him. Will Piastri's move to McLaren put him on the right track to a successful F1 career? Stay tuned to find out. Last year, Piastri found himself at the center of Formula One's silly season, as Alpine and McLaren competed for his services. While Alpine announced him as Fernando Alonso's replacement in early August, Piastri took to social media to refute the news, stating that he will not be driving for Alpine in 2023. Instead, it was speculated at the time that he had already signed a contract with McLaren. As the saga played out, the Enstone-based team took Piastri and McLaren before F1's Contract Recognition Board in a final attempt to sign him. The board ruled that the only valid contract for 2023 was between Piastri and McLaren. Alpine went on to accuse him of being disloyal and thinking he was better than the Williams seat they had initially attempted to secure for him. Piastri largely remained silent throughout it all, before eventually sitting down with the official F1 website to talk about what had been a bizarre and frankly upsetting episode. Now, as he puts in his final preparations ahead of his first season in Formula One, Grosjean believes it will be interesting to see what he can achieve and how he will handle having Lando Norris as his teammate. Grosjean thinks that Piastri can handle the pressure well. The former Formula One driver stated on his YouTube channel, "I'm excited to see what Oscar Piastri can accomplish in Formula One." According to Grosjean, Piastri is with the right team. With the growth McLaren wants to make in the coming years, the rookie can grow with the formation. He said he didn't have the best entry with all the Alpine McLaren story, but he's in a great car with a great team next to a very strong teammate that has made the McLaren team his own team. It's a good point as a rookie to come into a team that has an established driver who is very young and comes from the same background, Formula 3, Formula 2 and now Formula 1. So I'm excited to see what Oscar Piastri can do there. It is definitely one of the seats you want to be in when you get to Formula 1, so something to keep an eye on. Although McLaren are keen to downplay expectations, especially as Piastri didn't race at all during the 2022 season, Grosjean is not the only one keen to see what this much-wanted driver can do in his first season in F1. According to his manager Mark Webber, he is now on the right track. At the end of last season, Piastri was given the opportunity to get to know his new team. In addition, he was allowed to compete some tests at McLaren, allowing him to get a feel for the car. Webber is happy with the British formation's approach. Webber thinks it is important for the talented Piastri to get as many miles on his car as possible. The former Formula One driver stated, "It's pivotal. Obviously, the working environment is important, particularly for someone like Oscar, who's so insanely detailed." Webber believes Piastri is said to have what it takes to succeed in the motorsport class. He's methodical in his approach, and McLaren has seen that already, which is great, but you can do as much at the factory as a reserve driver, whatever that is or can be, but you need to be racing and preparing for that. Ultimately, he enjoyed those tests, and that was a good scenario, very good for us. You're enjoying this video, right? You definitely don't want to miss out on other amazing videos, so all you have to do is hit the subscription button. It's that easy. Thanks for doing that. Let's move on. Why did McLaren go for Oscar Piastri? When McLaren decided to replace Ricciardo, Piastri was a natural choice. Beyond his impressive headline achievements of back-to-back Formula 3 and Formula 2 titles, his rise to the top is even more impressive when you take a closer look. Not only is Piastri incredibly talented behind the wheel, but he also possesses a rare combination of confidence, ambition, and determination. He's a student of the sport who is constantly looking to improve, yet his relaxed and unassuming demeanor might fool some into thinking he's not as self-assured as he truly is. In late 2020, Piastri was not intimidated by his first test and Grand Prix weekend experience with Renault. Shadowing Renault drivers like Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon at the 2020 Turkish Grand Prix, Piastri spent the weekend making notes he wanted to review later on. But he had already identified the biggest difference, and it had little to do with the step up in machinery. Piastri revealed that the bigger eye-opener was how much energy and effort was put in by the drivers off track. This gave him a much better idea of the level of commitments F1 drivers undertake. He felt that one of the benefits of attending every Grand Prix in his year on the sidelines was to learn how full weekends really function without the driving side and how to be better prepared for the challenge of F1. In his own words, Piastri felt that by learning the off-track commitments and understanding how full weekends function, he could slot into the role of an F1 driver in 2023 with ease. It may have sounded casual, but it was a testament to his conviction and self-assurance. And why not? Piastri had been steadily improving as a driver, accumulating valuable mileage in an older F1 car and paying close attention to the strategies and techniques used by the likes of Ricciardo and Fernando Alonso during debriefs with their engineers. With all these elements combined, he was ready to make his mark in the high-speed world of Formula One. Piastri is a shrewd young man. Once he accepted that he would not secure an F1 race seat for 2022, He quickly devised a plan to make the most of his reserve role, a combination of on-site experience, extensive simulator time to learn about car development, and a comprehensive 2021 testing program to develop himself and stay car fit. He deliberately avoided racing elsewhere, such as a year in Super Formula, as he felt it would be a distraction from his ultimate goal. Arguably, the most impressive thing about Piastri is that he's a great learner. The trait of constant progression has been evident throughout his career so far. In his early years in racing, there was a clear upward trend in Piastri's performance. 5 of his 6 wins in British F4 came in the second half of his rookie season, and in the second part of his first year of Formula Renault Euro Cup, he scored all 3 of his podiums and twice as many points. This is to be expected of any young, talented driver who gains experience. However, what sets Piastri apart is his ability to identify nuanced areas to improve and his determination to do so. Racecraft, for example, ultimately became a defining characteristic of Piastri's hat-trick of single-seater titles, but it did not come naturally to him. Piastri had noticed in his first year of car racing that runaway F4 champion Jamie Caroline, in his second year of single-seaters and 4th year of racing, dominated the rookies. So he made sure to focus on developing his racecraft as a skill I've acquired over time. This focus on racecraft was evident when he won the Euro Cup. Though it wasn't an especially distinctive trait at that time, given he was the second-year driver, it proved to be an excellent foundation for his title-winning F3 season, which relied almost entirely on his racecraft skills. He felt he had proven to himself that he could not only race impressively, but also efficiently. He noted it's the first championship where you only really get 1 or 2 push laps on the tyre before you know that they're not good enough for the pole, and you've got 2 separate runs to make a change in the middle and regroup. A repeated failure to get it together on the second set of tyres was something Piastri was determined to analyse after the season. His F2 qualifying record shows that he did, as he never qualified lower than 3rd from the second round onwards, and had an astonishing run of 5 consecutive poles to the end of the season. It was the cornerstone of his championship success. There is a small asterisk for Piastri in that his F3 and F2 titles came against slightly questionable opposition, although it is important to note that you can only beat what's in front of you. And defeating the more experienced Zhao Guanyu, who now looks perfectly decent in F1 at Alfa Romeo, at least provides a vague reference of what to expect of Piastri in F1. Exactly how good he is, or can be, is still a mystery, as it is for all rookies, but Piastri's management has maneuvered this situation precisely because the likes of Mark Webber are convinced that he exhibits the traits of a future world champion. McLaren might not yet be convinced to the same extent, but the team has seen enough to believe he can form a key part of its long-term future. Piastri himself is also very ambitious, so the prospect of going up against an established ace like Norris will be one he takes on with enthusiasm. He isn't content to just make up the numbers. If he was, his camp would have towed the line and let him be placed at Williams. His performances in motor racing's junior series, 3 titles in 3 seasons from 2019 to 2021, have generated a lot of excitement for his Formula 1 debut, as they hint at a driver who can adapt quickly to new challenges. However, as the likes of Mick Schumacher, 2020 Formula 2 champion, and Nicholas Latifi, 2019's runner-up, can attest, it's one thing to excel in the junior formulas and another to succeed in Formula 1. The pressure and expectations will be high for Piastri as he takes the F1 grid. But with his track record of quick adaptation and determination, he will be sure to make his mark in Formula 1. What's your thought about Oscar Piastri? Let me know in the comments section below. That will be all for today's video. Thanks for staying tuned. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you can always get to watch more amazing videos like this. See you in the next video.